The concept of a Satanic New World Order has been a topic of discussion among conspiracy theorists for decades. According to this theory, a group of powerful individuals and organizations are working together to create a one-world government that would control every aspect of people's lives. Recently, some proponents of this theory have suggested that climate change propaganda is being used as a tool to oppress people and bring about this new world order. The idea behind this claim is that the elite are using the threat of climate change to manipulate people into accepting a more controlled and surveilled society. They argue that the climate change narrative is being exaggerated or even fabricated to justify the implementation of policies that would restrict individual freedoms and pave the way for a totalitarian government. These policies might include carbon taxes, strict regulations on energy consumption, and even population control measures. One of the main arguments made by proponents of this theory is that the climate change movement is being fueled by a disproportionate amount of funding and media attention. They point out that many of the organizations and individuals leading the charge on climate change are receiving large amounts of money from governments, corporations, and foundations. This, they claim, is evidence that these groups are being used as pawns in a larger game to manipulate public opinion and push through a predetermined agenda. Another argument made by those who believe in the Satanic New World Order is that the solutions being proposed to combat climate change are often more destructive than the problem itself. For example, they might argue that the push for renewable energy sources is being used to justify the construction of large-scale wind and solar farms, which can have devastating effects on local ecosystems and wildlife. Similarly, they might claim that the promotion of veganism and reduced meat consumption is actually a ploy to control people's food choices and further erode individual freedoms. However, it is essential to note that the vast majority of the scientific community agrees that climate change is real and poses a significant threat to our planet. The evidence for human-caused climate change is overwhelming, and it is not a topic of debate among credible scientists. The idea that climate change is being used as a tool for oppression is not supported by factual evidence and can be seen as a distraction from the real issue at hand. Moreover, the solutions being proposed to combat climate change, such as transitioning to renewable energy sources and increasing energy efficiency, are not only necessary to mitigate the effects of climate change but also have numerous other benefits. For example, renewable energy can create jobs, stimulate local economies, and improve air quality. It is essential to approach this topic with a critical and nuanced perspective, recognizing both the legitimate concerns about climate change and the potential for misuse of the issue for political or ideological purposes. In conclusion, while the idea that the Satanic New World Order is using climate change propaganda to oppress us might seem compelling to some, it is essential to approach this topic with a critical eye. The evidence for human-caused climate change is overwhelming, and the solutions being proposed to combat it have numerous benefits beyond just mitigating the effects of climate change. Rather than buying into unsubstantiated conspiracy theories, we should focus on having a fact-based discussion about the best ways to address this critical issue and create a more sustainable future for all. Ultimately, it is crucial to be aware of the potential for manipulation and misinformation on this topic, and to approach any claims or arguments with a healthy dose of skepticism. By doing so, we can work together to create a better future, rather than allowing unfounded conspiracy theories to divide us and distract us from the real challenges we face. The fact remains that climate change is a pressing issue that requires immediate attention and action, and we must be careful not to let misinformation and unsubstantiated claims get in the way of making progress on this critical issue.